Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 16 of the anime series Akagami no Shirayuki-hime, or Snow White with the red hair. And yes, please, this was everything I've been talking about in the last couple episode discussion videos. This is exactly what is the most compelling and enticing right now. The character dynamics, the interplay going on in this particular episode between Shirayuki and Raj trying to be just the best version of himself, even if it is somewhat of a facade, and he's putting on an act complete with little cheat sheet notes in his hand when he's talking about the mountain bandits and like the group of impromptu sort of vigilantes or heroes that try to make sure people who are traveling through are safe and all that kind of stuff. You know, he's very much standing side by side with Shirayuki as she's looking over the flowers and talking about the fauna and all of her intellect and interests along those lines. And then he tries to take it a step further to win her over by showing her the grand library, trying to appeal to that intellect. And even I'm like creaming. I'm like, holy crap, I love this place. I would love to just look over all the books, pour over all the books. And then you have Obi, who is in tow, the steadfast companion and protector, who's bored out of his ever-loving mind with all the books and all the knowledge he could reap. Forget that stuff, you know. Could we please just go somewhere more interesting? Is his whole drive, you know, and just that character interplay, like all of that stuff, bringing into question, will Shirayuki being away from Zen, you know, will she be missing him? And that's a large aspect of her character that I find that much more compelling, because while she is thinking of everyone back home, she's thinking of Zen and, you know, Mitsuhide, Kiki and all that stuff, everyone she left behind, she hasn't yet missed him. She hasn't been away long enough to really miss him and have that resounding, deep ingrown, you know, desire to just, I need to be back with him. She's having fun. And it's bringing up this level of conflict within her. This is why it's that much more interesting, because it's bringing up that conflict. She's kind of mulling to herself after she and Obi, you know, after sort of the procedure of all of this stuff has concluded for the day, and she's supposed to be going to bed. He's supposed to be going to bed. His room is right next to hers, as we saw in the last episode. But, you know, she comes out onto the balcony just to look up, stargazing and everything, and here is Obi, not knowing she was actually still awake. And so there is a little bit of uncomfortability there too, because earlier in the episode you had Rona, you know, Rona and Eugenia are still plotting to connive of ways to try to get Shirayuki to stay, or to try to get Raj to fess up to how he's feeling about her. And everyone feels like, you know, Raj is in love with her. He's just got to confront those feelings. But when they start to perceive, hey, maybe Obi is actually the denizen that she's really infatuated with, Shirayuki, that is to say, Rona pushes Shirayuki into, you know, Obi's arms, and he can't let go of that. He's already caught her before one or another of times, and it shouldn't mean anything. But now even he is mulling over that attraction he has and all that kind of stuff. That's that much more interesting, you know. And it's hilarious to me, because it's perfect human awkwardness. It's the most natural awkwardness in his, you know, when he likes her, but then he brings up the guy, you know, he knows she likes Zen. Shouldn't you be missing Zen? You know, he's the one who says that, and then he's like, he just falls back on his bed after this really uncomfortable dialogue with her, because he's like, how could I have brought up the other guy? You know, he's still the honorable cat, though. He doesn't want to just come out and say, you know, I dig you, and if it weren't for Zen, you know. So all of that, I mean, it's just, this was perfect. It was pitch perfect to amp up the intrigue and all of that stuff, the characterization, and really testing the limits of Shirayuki. And I'm surprised to say that while she's not, I wouldn't say faltering, she is having sort of self-doubt. She is sort of having that internal conflict. Why am I not missing Zen? You know, like, I'm looking forward to getting back there, and I'm looking forward to being back with him, but what does that mean if I'm not missing him? And I don't want to even suppose that there's any doubt, like, do I really love him? That kind of thing. I mean, I know that they love each other. And it's interesting on the other end of that whole spectrum where, you know, we found out through Mihaya that this Kazuki cat has a whole posse, and apparently, toward the end of the episode, they've got their ringleader woman. Who the hell is this woman? I don't know. But they're just so hardcore after Shirayuki, and Zen finding this information out that there is a crew behind Kazuki for whatever purpose, whatever their driving force. He goes and confronts Izana, and that whole scenario, like, because I have had sneaking suspicions, how involved is Izana in all of this? Could this be something he put into the works to really truly test, Zen and Shirayuki? Maybe it was more than just splitting them apart and making her go off somewhere else, maybe it was actually he wants to get people, putting her into danger and everything, and seeing, will Zen shirk his responsibilities? Will he stand up as the prince he needs to be and let other people take care of it? And by the end of this episode, we see the clear-cut answer, the decisive answer. Zen is not going to sit around waiting. He's going. And so you have Izana almost, along the line of this was his whole plan and concoction to begin with, telling Zen, if anything happens to you where I have to intervene, you better not ever think about bringing this girl back here, because she's what led you to it. And, like, mind blown. Like, holy crap. Is this an Izana masterwork? Is it just happenstance? What exactly is going on with these people who are after Shirayuki? Why are they after her? And I just was, like, amped when Obi, like, realizes they just happened to get the communique, from Zen and everything, that something is going to happen. People are gunning for her. And right at that moment, the curtains get blasted by the wind, and Obi's protective. His arm is out in front of Shirayuki, and he sees Kazuki up there, and all this kind of stuff, and boom, cliffhanger. And it's just like tension times 10. And one thing I also got to say, my props to Raj, because as much as he was trying to wear the facade, he pulls out that violin and goes Sherlock Holmes on that son of a bitch. And I was like, damn. Like, this cat's got some skills. He was actually playing pretty damn well. And I'm thinking, like, is there a record player somewhere behind a curtain? Like, is this a facade too, or is he actually playing? For all intents and purposes, he was really playing. I was that much more impressed with him. But then there was also a little moment that was a little bit suggestive, maybe, when they're in the library, and this is a point where Raj is finally asking Shirayuki, what is our relationship? Would you say you're happy that I'm the prince of this particular burg, this place you once called home? And she doesn't answer right away. Like, he says something like, I'm sure what I have right now is not good enough, or something like that. And he plops down, and the camera just lingers just that, a couple milliseconds too long on Raj's crotch. And then it pans up. And he's like, well, I got to figure out what I need to get this to work. And I'm just like, yeah, you don't have what it takes. Maybe Zen's packing. I don't know. Is that what's going through his mind? Is that, suggestive to the viewer? I don't know exactly. Just, that was an interesting moment. And I also loved the point earlier where, Shirayuki's like, oh, I didn't know you were actually that interested in the books and the library stuff. And are you, studying up on your history for any particular princely reason? And he chews her head off, and then she gets all sheepish behind her book, and she's looking over at Obi, and Obi's like, well, I don't know. That's what I'm talking about, man. The charm and the humor and the characterization is immediately welcoming, is immediately, it draws you in right away. And you just get captivated with these characters, the people they are. And then what is going on around them, and how they react to situations, or they fall into situations, or they rebound out of them. It's just all hella lovable and interesting. Enjoyable to watch. And so yeah, now that we have this cliffhanger, it's like, what the hell? What in the hell is going on? I cannot wait. I will be waiting with bated breath to the next episode to see who these people are, why they are so consumed with getting Shirayuki, if there's anything more than just the fact that she's got red hair to do with it? Are they denizens hired by Izana to really put Zen and Shirayuki to the test? Is there some grander thing going on? You know, is this the machination of people we haven't even encountered before, or reasoning we haven't even encountered before? I mean, for all we know, it could be whatever his name is, like Raj's servant Sakaki, I think it is. He is trying utmost to get Raj to confront how he feels about Shirayuki, or at least his estimation of how Raj feels about it, and like even to the point of Rona and Eugenia being staked out in Raj's bed, and he's like, oh, well, should I just point you to Shirayuki's room? Like, yeah, okay. But yeah, just dynamite series. I love this series. I love the characters, everything about it, the animation, the music, the story, the pacing. It's just perfection, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below if you've seen episode 16 of Akagami no Shirayuki-hime, if you enjoyed it as much as I did, if you were laughing and chuckling along as much as I was with Raj making an ass out of himself, but cleverly and charmingly so. That's the thing about him, where I didn't like him in the start of the series, all the way back in season 1. As I said in the previous episode, I'm warming to him that much more, and I really genuinely like him at this point. Like, I like his character, and I want to see him develop more, and there's going to be a small part of me, even though I am all about, you know, Shirayuki and Zen, there is going to be a small part of me that's going to be kind of sad to see, you know, he's got to live his life without her. And same with Obi. I mean, Obi at the same time, he's pining for her as well. It's like, here are these two guys who have really good, honorable qualities, and they're deserving. And Shirayuki just may not be that person for them, you know. It's just going to be interesting to see if they can ever find someone befitting of that for themselves. And so yeah, otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.